the way you look at a designer suit.
This is a Fox News alert. President Trump just wrapping up a roundtable on tax reform in Ohio. This as the midterm elections are heating up, including right there in the Buckeye State. Voters in several key states get ready to head to the polls for primaries on Tuesday. The Republicans setting their sights on Democratic Senate seats in states President Trump won in 2016. So let's talk about all this and about their strategy with Saagar Enjeti, White House correspondent for the Daily Caller. Thanks for joining us today. I'm looking forward to your perspective on this. So President Trump first began touting his tax plan during his roundtable discussion there in Ohio. He heard from a lot of people thanking him and actually heaping praise on him for that tax plan. Is this how the Republicans will go out in front of Democrats in the midterms?
Yes, Kelly, that was absolutely a major success for the president. And that's the most that I have actually seen him on message at a tax cuts roundtable in quite some time. You know, the Republican leadership in the House and in the Senate have been begging the president to just tour this country and hammer home the fact that Americans have more money in their paychecks. You know, the most recent polling on the Tax Reform Act actually shows that a majority of Americans are not really aware that their paychecks are larger than they used to be. And so that's something that the president has been out there trying to drive home. But he does face, you know, a daunting feat here, which is many of the swing state voters in places like Ohio he is personally popular with, but many of the people that he's endorsed and he's running, you know, he wants to succeed the Democrats in these states don't necessarily align with him on all policy.
You know, that's a very good point. A spokesperson for the RNC, Republican National Committee, says today's event is all about fundraising and is in support of the Trump victory. His visit to Ohio, they say, has raised $3 million for their war chest. That being said, how do you think the president's visit will impact the competitive races, as you've just talked about, in the Buckeye State? Because they do face some competition there.
That's right. It is a competitive primary. And, you know, Congressman Renacci doesn't necessarily align with the president on trade. He's actually somebody who has said publicly that he hopes to bring the president around to his position on trade. And even if he does win this primary, he's going up against Sherrod Brown, who is somebody who actually put out a statement in favor of the president's protectionist policies. He has been a protectionist trade nationalist for quite some time. So politics doesn't really align, you know, just because they're both Republicans in this state, and it's something that the swing state voters, which are critical for Congressman Renacci, may not show up for him on Election Day.
Yeah, he's touting Ohio first, just like the president touts America first, but going up against Sherrod Brown, who is that populist Democrat, the populist who's endorsing the president's proposals, in fact, on infrastructure and things like that. That's a tough hill to climb, and appreciate your insights. I wish we had more time. We got to keep moving on. It's an abbreviated show right now because of the president's trip to Ohio, which we covered live right here. But thank you so much, Saagar Enjeti.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right.
So Rudy Giuliani's revelations about Storm